Good morning. Today, we're diving into a dark yet critical chapter of social history, the origins of the English witch trials, as detailed in Wallace Notestein's seminal work, A History of Witchcraft in England. Notestein argues that witchcraft, far from being a mere antiquarian interest, was deeply interwoven with the politics, literature, fears, and hopes of the 16th and 17th centuries. It was an ugly belief that concerned all classes, from the royal household worried about the sovereign to the peasants worrying about their crops. To truly understand Elizabethan and Stuart England, we must understand the terror of the witch. Defining the term, old sorcery versus new witchcraft. The first key concept Notestein stresses is the need to distinguish between old sorcery and new witchcraft. Sorcery, or simple magic, was ancient in England. It involved using spells, charms, or astrology to achieve an end, such as finding treasure, telling the future, or causing a neighbor's illness. Throughout the Middle Ages, figures like the unfortunate Duchess of Gloucester or the mistress of Edward IV were accused of these magical misdeeds. These cases were usually handled by church courts and lacked a clear, terrifying definition. The new witchcraft, however, was a distinct and intricate theological notion, heavily influenced by continental ideas. This new definition transformed the sorcerer from a mere mischievous magician into a terrifying agent of evil. The crucial element was the dreadful relation with the devil. The witch had to have deliberately surrendered herself to the evil one. This specific satanic version of witchcraft wasn't clearly defined in the minds of ordinary Englishmen until relatively late, specifically when legislation began. The dawn of legislation. The most important turning point Notestein identifies is the passage of laws, which formalized and escalated the persecution. Before Queen Elizabeth, the crime of sorcery was handled sporadically. Henry VII passed an act in 1542, but it was sweeping in its severity and proved short-lived, repealed just 6 years later under Edward VI in a wave of leniency. The true starting point for Notestein's history is the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, specifically the Statute of 1563. The persecution was actively prepared from the very opening of Elizabeth's reign. With the new statute, 1. Clarity emerged. The law, influenced by continental thought, forced a clearer distinction between mere conjuration and the serious satanic crime of witchcraft. 2. Accusations rose. With clear legislation came a greatly increased number of accusations and subsequent executions. 3. Theory flourished. This activity spurred English theologians to consult continental writers, leading to the rapid elaboration of the whole system and science of the belief for anyone who could read. Crucially, the law made the punishment for the first offense less severe than Henry VIII's, but by defining the crime clearly, it became far more effective at prosecuting it. In summary, Notestein's first chapter establishes that the English witch trials were not a sudden explosion of mass hysteria, but a process that needed two things. 1. A clear definition, the shift from vague medieval sorcery to the specific, devil-worshipping crime of new witchcraft. 2. Parliamentary action, the Statute of 1563 under Elizabeth I, which provided the legal framework necessary to turn fear and superstition into official persecution. This legislation marked the point at which witchcraft moved from being a scattered, obscure crime into a central, terrifying social phenomenon that would plague England for the next 160 years until the belief finally declined following key literary attacks around 1718. Thank you.